Good morning. We're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. So glad you could join us today. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. Post and chat. Let us know where you're from and whether or not you're marketing to businesses or consumers. Today, we're going to be talking all about how to get found in local search and, of course, the latest trends in search, which includes AI overviews, getting found in ChatGPT, all of the above. So really looking forward to sharing the best tips and resources for you to stay up to date on the latest trends, and you'll have plenty of time to answer questions today. So again, go ahead and post in chat. Let us know where you're from and if you're marketing to businesses or consumers. We've got just a few minutes before we're going to get started here today. Good morning. We have attendees joining us from California, from San Francisco, aloha from Hawaii. So glad you could join us today. Again, we'll be getting started in just a minute here. Looks like we've got a good mix of those that are marketing to other businesses versus consumers today. Another aloha from Hawaii. Fantastic. Well, good morning. Again, for those of you just joining us, so glad you could attend today. Today's webinar is hosted by SCORE. SCORE is such an amazing resource. It's a national organization that helps small businesses and entrepreneurs like yourself with a wide range of no-cost services. Just like you're attending our webinar today, and I highly encourage you to take advantage of their no-cost mentoring sessions. So they don't do the work for you, but these are seasoned experts in their fields that can provide you guidance, resources, can be a great sounding board for you. For those of you that are startups, they have great business plans and startup templates and plans they can help you work with. So SCORE will be sending you a copy of my presentation slides that you can download and refer back to. But during the webinar today, you'll see some post and chat where they're going to include their contact information. And of course, as you get that follow-up email, you can take advantage of those resources. Why not? They're available at no cost. Good morning. I'm Victoria Byrne. I'm the founder of Creative Marketing Services. And for over 18 years, our agency has provided a wide range of custom website design and development services, helping clients get found online and drive more business through search, paid ads, email marketing, social media, pretty much anything online. And we also provide a wide range of branding and graphic design services as well. I'm also a Constant Contact certified local expert, and I have been volunteering my time with SCORE for over 12 years, where I teach a wide range of educational webinars on digital marketing and websites. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of SCORE and all that they provide, so I encourage you to connect with them and also invite you to connect with us at Creative Marketing Services. We have a lot of information we're going to be getting through today. We work with clients of all sizes, from startups to small businesses to large corporations. And I'm very excited today to share with you the best tips, resources, and really the importance of what is changing and how you need to adapt to be found in local search, as well as the AI overviews. So we're going to have plenty of time for you to ask questions through our webinar today. If you have a question, please post it in the Q&A box. And we'll also be addressing questions at the end. As I previously mentioned, SCORE will be sending you a copy of my presentation slides you can download and refer back to. So let's go ahead and address what we're going to be covering today. First and foremost, how are people searching today? There's absolutely changes, and you've probably seen that yourself. Absolutely covering the SEO basics, how you can show up locally for your business online. Very importantly, what AI search means for your business. And you're going to be walking away with practical steps you can implement right away. When it comes to search, why does it matter, right? If the customers can't find you, they can't choose you, they can't hire you. With search, it's an investment. It's helping you get visibility, building your credibility. And of course, your competitors are already investing in search. So if you're not already investing in search, you absolutely need to do so. Today, I'm going to be talking a lot about how you need to pivot to the latest trends as well. When we talk about what is SEO, where are we today? So SEO is search engine optimization, right? This is not getting paid ads. This is organically showing up. SEO has absolutely changed, and you need to be aware of the changes and adapt so that you can continue to be found online. Search engine optimization, we're now referring to it as search everywhere optimization because it's no longer just SEO. It's SEO, it's GEO, it's AEO. If you've heard those terms, don't worry, I'm going to explain all of that in today's presentation. One of the things to keep in mind is that SEO is no longer just about rankings with Google. It's about being found everywhere your audience is searching, because audiences have shifted in terms of how they search. For example, and you can relate to this probably yourself, people are asking questions, not just typing in keywords. The AI tools summarize answers instantly. There's more competition, of course, online for visibility, and trust and authority matter more than ever. So how are people searching today? Still very prominent is Google search. That's the traditional search, but it's much more than that. People are searching in maps. They're typing in phrases like near me, where can I buy? They're using voice search, AI tools such as ChatGPT, getting found in AI overviews, which you can absolutely get ranked for and have visibility for. I'll be sharing you that with today. Social search. So today, again, it's not just getting ranked with Google. Businesses need to show up in multiple places. And it might seem a little bit overwhelming, but I'm going to break it down for you today and how you can really streamline those efforts and prioritize where you should be focused so that you can be found online. So what does this mean for your business? First and foremost, one strategy is no longer enough. It's not just focused on getting found in the Google search. We've got to go beyond that. Number two, your website continues to be, and really you want to make it the priority of the hub, the foundation of all your digital marketing. Because of course, how are people finding you? They're finding you through all of these search options, but they're coming to your website. So we've got to make sure your site is still absolutely your top priority. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. And making sure that you have consistency across all platforms in terms of the content, the messaging, your contact information. And lastly, very importantly, content drives visibility. So if you want to be seen in search, in any of these search, it absolutely requires you to invest in your content strategy. I'm going to give you very specific examples. So it's a great time that AI is emerging. These AI content generators can be a great resource to help you with your content strategy, and we'll be covering those today as well. I also want to take the time just to break down the basics. So today we're going to go over SEO basics, then we're going to talk about the latest trends in terms of AEO, GEO. We're going to talk about how to get found in local search, website importance of getting found, and some tracking tools as well. So when we're talking about standard SEO, it's still absolutely the foundation and the base. So you can't just skip over it and think you're going to be able to appear in all of these AI overview or ChatGPT searches. SEO is still the basis. So it's a combination of SEO, AEO, and GEO. So when we talk about SEO, search engine optimization, it's helping search engines understand, first and foremost, who you are, the services or the products that you offer, why customers should choose you, and where you're located. One of the common questions I get asked is, well, how does Google decide who shows up in the rankings? Because we're talking about the SEO here. First and foremost, is it relevant to the keyword phrase that they're typing in, right? Does it match the search? Location-based, especially for some of you that are very specifically in a location, how close are they to you? And also very importantly, and this goes across the board for any of your marketing, but also as we're looking at how search is evolving, is even more important the trust, the credibility, and all of that ties to all of your reviews, your online mentions, your website. Those are all the factors that come into play for how your site is getting ranked. So as I mentioned, I don't want you to think about SEO anymore. Think of search everywhere. Optimization is really where things are today. So again, as I just mentioned, it starts with SEO. Search engine optimization is absolutely still where you need to start. It's the base. So search engine optimization is getting your rankings with Google, right? Having keywords that you're ranking for, that you're driving traffic to your website. It's very much focused on your keywords, your content, and technical optimization, which we'll walk through in a little bit. It's essentially getting your keywords and your site optimized and then putting up content on a regular basis. So again, can't emphasize enough that it's still absolutely the baseline. Now, where things are evolving. It's not just SEO. You also need to think about GEO. So generative engine optimization. This is if you want to be found in the AI results, such as ChatGPT, Google AI overviews. It really requires some structured, more authoritative content, which I'll be going into a little bit here, and being cited as a trusted source. And thirdly, there's a little thing called AEO, Answer Engine Optimization. So this is where there's featured snippets, the answers to questions people are asking, ties into voice search and direct answers. And very importantly, you have clear and concise, helpful content. So where search has evolved is SEO, GEO, AEO, because as I explained, how people are searching today. So if you're not adopting to these, you're going to be left behind because people aren't just always going to Google anymore. So you need to add in your GEO and your AEO aspects. And I'll be doing the breakdown for you as well. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the Q&A box. So I thought it'd be helpful to give you a little overview of kind of where search had been versus where it is today. So prior to having AI overviews, if you were to do a Google search, say for dog daycare Glendale, okay, the very top would be the paid ads. These are people that are paying to be at the top of the search engines because they're running ads with Google. The benefit of that is, of course, you're at the very top, so you can quickly generate some business and some leads from there. The downside, of course, means that you're paying for the ads. Everything we're talking about today is organic, so you're not paying to be seen in search. The challenge also with those ads is if you stop running your ads, you're no longer at the top of the search. Secondarily, below the ads were the Google Maps. And I'm going to be showing you today how to optimize your listing in your Google Maps as well. Third was the organic results. So for example, the page 1 of the search results for dog daycare Glendale. We had the ads, we had the maps, then we had the organic results. And here's a great example of a local business, and they're ranked number 2 organically for Google. What has changed? AI overviews. So AI overviews actually now appear above the Google ads in search results. And the good news is through ongoing consistent efforts, you can get your business listed here and ranked so that you can be at the top of AI overviews. But again, it still starts with a baseline of getting your Google rankings listing. When it comes to SEO, SEO is absolutely a long-term strategy. It does not happen overnight. That's where, again, if you are looking to drive more immediate business, doing something like running Google ads, even temporarily until you start getting the results you're looking for from SEO can be a great way. SEO is that long-term strategy because it takes ongoing initiatives to earn your way. It's referred to as earned media. So you're working your way up in the Google rankings. And you've got to be on page one, right? Think about the last time you did a Google search. Did you ever go past page one? Well, about 75% of the people don't. Ideally, of course, you're number one for that keyword that you're ranking on page one. But really, where you're going to see the most conversions is if you're in the top 3 organic positions on page one of Google, right? Earn your way up to page one and then really try to focus on getting in those top 3 positions. All right, so now we're going to get into more specific details and really what it takes and the steps and the techniques to help you with SEO. And then we're going to transition to local search as well. When it comes to search engine optimization, again, this is your baseline that you need to invest in your website to be found. The first thing you're going to do is identify the proper keywords that you want to focus on that are going to help drive visibility, increase your rankings. I'm going to walk you through some tools today as well. And you want to make sure that you're really focused on what are called transactional keyword phrases, not just informational, because we want to focus on getting more business from the traffic we're driving from our website, not just people that are looking to find out more information about a particular topic. We want people that are really looking to take action. I'll give you some examples of that. And it's all based on, as you can imagine, your keywords. So if you're not picking the right keywords from the beginning, you're never really going to achieve the optimal results. Once you've finalized your keywords, the next step is you need to optimize your website. I'm going to walk you through that today as well. And get your keywords throughout your website, throughout your content, throughout the structure of your website. And that's a one-time project, especially if you're just getting started or if you're looking to optimize your site. I will tell you about 80% of what goes into increasing your rankings with Google is publishing new content on a regular basis. So it is something that you need to consistently do on a monthly basis in order to help you earn your way up with Google. So for example, a lot of small businesses, a great opportunity is having a blog on your website and publishing 2, 3, maybe 4 blog articles a month that are properly optimized, and that's going to help you. But also, very importantly, it's getting new content on your website that you can now share across all your digital channels to drive even more quality traffic to your site. So hugely beneficial. The last thing here is a couple things, obtaining quality backlinks. So like I said, about 80% of what's going to help you increase your rankings is putting up the new content. About 20% is obtaining quality backlinks. So in other words, if you're a local business and maybe you're a restaurant and you're in Huntington Beach, you are part of a Chamber of Commerce. And on that Chamber of Commerce website, they are linking back to your website. That's a quality backlink. So it's an ongoing initiative to achieve those backlinks as well. And lastly, of course, is maintaining your website health, maintaining the site speed, maintaining the functionality of your site. So that's kind of the baseline for SEO success as well. See, we have a question. In terms of the issue with leaning on Google Ads for immediate transactions, I've heard 5,000 budget is needed to start. Absolutely not. So it really is going to depend when it comes to Google Ads. One of the things you want to take a look at is what your average cost per click is going to be. So it might be $2, might be $3, $1.50, whatever it is. I will say though, with a disclaimer, if you're in a very highly competitive market, it might be cost prohibitive. You know, if you're a criminal defense attorney, for example, could cost you upwards of maybe $150 per click. So you want to, really take a look at that, but also take a look at what is your cost per acquisition. What do you think it's going to cost in order to get that conversion? Many businesses start with $750 or $1,000. Again, this is kind of general. We'd have to talk specific. You don't want to start out with a high ad spend because you're going to be wasting ad spend initially. You've got to test and try and get through kind of a learning period to see what's working. So I always recommend starting more conservatively with Google Ads. Okay, you're probably asking, okay, how do I choose the right keywords? right? So I want to walk you through some very specific techniques today and also some resources that you can use. So think like your customer. What I always recommend is for businesses to create a list, 20 to 30 keyword phrases that you think that your audience is going to be searching, that you want to be found for. Think about transactional keywords. So for example, dog daycare Glendale is the example that I gave, right? We're not just saying daycare, we're being very specific. Daycare could be childcare, elder care, right? There's a lot of specifics. Think about things like construction certificate programs, emotional intelligence appraisals, collision repair in Long Beach. Okay, they're longer keyword phrases that are transactional based, that are going to have that better chance of opportunity of driving business for you and tend to have a much better conversion rate. Also conduct competitive research. So even do a Google search for the keywords that you're thinking about and see who comes up, but I have other tools that we can look at today as well. As I was just referencing, use the long tail keywords. It's not just one keyword, it's going to be a longer phrase. There's research tools I'm going to share with you here, and then analyze and finalize your list as a place to start. Now, some of the tools that you can use, because you don't want to be flying blind. You absolutely want to do the research to really make sure you're focused on the right keywords. Google Keyword Planner. So if you have a Google Ads account, there's a keyword planner that you can use. If you don't have a Google Ads account, you can still sign up for one. It does require you to have a credit card on file, but you never have to run an ad. You can actually use the tool to run the keywords. Google Trends is always a good resource. And then Moz and SEMrush are other good resources. So what I recommend, like I said, is identify those initial top 20, 30 keyword phrases, do a little research on those, make sure you have those longer phrases, right? Especially if they're a local-based business. Then upload that list to either Google Keyword Planner or say SEMrush, right? SEMrush has a free plan I'll be sharing with you a little bit later. Here's the benefit of using these tools. When you upload your keyword list, you're going to be able to see what kind of search volume is being conducted every single month on Google, whether or not you do it based on a national search or more of a local search if you're a local business. It will also give you the competition level. So how competitive are these keywords? And very importantly, it also not only reports on the keyword lists that you uploaded, it also will give you related keywords that maybe you didn't even think about, or maybe have a slightly lower competition level, but are great opportunities for you to add. So it takes time. It really does, but really worth the time. So one of the things to think about is don't always just go for the highest volume with the highest level of competition, because that means there's a lot of people vying for that particular keyword phrase and it's going to take a lot of work. So take a look at the actual search volume, how many searches are being conducted every single month, and the competition level, the lower the better. So like a 0.4, 0.5 is great. If you're looking at a 0.8 or 0.9, and really have that mix. You don't want to just go for the highest volume, the highest competitive, right? And really take a look. Healthy restaurants near me, 74,000 searches being conducted a month. And then there's variations of that. Healthy food restaurants near me. Restaurants near me healthy, right? It's all the variations of what people are typing in. So I recommend that you really focus on doing that research so that you're giving yourself the best chance for success from the very beginning. Now, one of the tools I just referenced that is available for free trials, free plans is SEMrush. And you can do keyword research, competitive research, very important. So it's not just you looking at, your company, but also doing some competitive research. They do have a free site audit, and all of that is available at no cost. So it really behooves you to use those types of resources so that you are getting that insight and really mapping it out from the very beginning. Now, if you are interested in their ongoing services, it starts about $117 a month, and they provide incredible tracking. So you can actually see how are you ranking with the keywords, how do you compare versus your competition, because you're investing your time and energy in search and your keywords, and you want to make sure that you have that tracking in place as well. So when it comes to best practices for search engine optimization, always we are going to be aligning with the search intent, which means as you're writing your content and incorporating your keywords, you are always still focused on writing them for your audience. We're not writing them for the search engines. You're not stuffing your keywords in there. It's natural content that you're writing, incorporating your keywords. And then incorporating those keywords throughout your website, earning quality backlinks, the importance of optimizing images, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Always focus on creating very valuable content for your audience that incorporates those keywords. Also, another key element is keeping your website fast loading. And as much as you can improve the user experience and keep people coming back, that actually provides great signals and can help you as well. So one of the things to keep in mind is so much more searches are being conducted by voice. So think about that as you're creating your keywords. Think about conversational phrases. You can use questions, certainly use near me, where can I buy? So here are some great examples, especially if you're a local business that you want to be focused on for your local SEO. Think about whatever the type of business you have, like plumbers near me, emergency HVAC repair, best pizza near me, family dentist in, list your city, HR consulting firm for small business, commercial cleaning company. So those are the types that you want to help with your local. Now, when it comes to your on-page SEO, this is what I was talking about, that second step. First and foremost, you're identifying your transactional keywords, and now you need to complete your on-site search engine optimization, which means incorporating those keywords within your website content, in the titles of your website, in the meta descriptions, which I'm going to show you examples, things like the headers, your internal linking, so you're linking between pages, your image are optimized, and you're helping to get that great user engagement and page speed as well. See a couple more questions coming in. Yes, as I mentioned at the beginning, SCORE will be sending you copies of my presentation slides you can download and refer back to as well. And in terms of AI content writing, absolutely, we're going to be addressing that here in just a minute. When it comes to optimizing your website, first and foremost, you want to have at least 300 to 400 words per page or product or blog article. That's kind of the guideline from Google. And for every page, you're going to select a different primary keyword. And that's the keyword that you're going to incorporate in your description, your content, 3 to 4 times within that content. You're not using the same keyword on every page. You really want to make sure that you have a dedicated keyword phrase per page. And that's where you're going to use that keyword in addition in your headers as well and in your descriptions. So here's a great example of how you can actually customize your meta descriptions. It's what actually shows up in the search results. So if you're using any content management system like WordPress, Squarespace, Shopify, Wix, it has the opportunity for you to customize what your meta description and your title is, and you need to incorporate that same keyword that you're focused on that individual page. In addition to your images, before you upload your images to your website, first and foremost, you need to keep them optimized for web so they're fast loading. I don't recommend uploading images to your site that are more than 2 megabytes. Keep them small and make sure that you're populating the alt text and the title text with that same keyword phrase that the content appears on that page. Also, of course, as you are working on your website, which is absolutely an investment, it's not just something you have up. If you're really looking to drive more business and be found in search, it's an ongoing investment. So make sure that you are looking and working on getting better engagement. The more time people spend on your site, the more that they are visiting other pages. That actually helps with your overall results as well. And adding new content. Again, I can't stress enough the importance of this throughout your website on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be a blog. It can be case studies, landing pages, behind the scenes, events. It's the matter of the cadence of getting new content up on a regular basis. And depending on how competitive your industry is, you're going to need to put more or less to see results faster. So that was a little overview of the baseline of SEO. Now I want to go ahead and get into how to get found in local search. So where does local search happen? Google Business Profile, Google Maps, local directories, your website, of course. So if you don't already have a Google Business Profile, you need to do this today because it's absolutely free. With Google Business Profile, you will need to go through an owner verification process because they want to verify you are truly the owner. Take the time to choose the right categories, to get all of your information up there. And keep in mind that 86% of customers search Google Maps before even visiting a business. So I wanted to take a minute today to kind of give you a breakdown of all the things you can do with Google Business Profile. If you haven't updated your profile recently, I highly recommend that you log in. First of all, you can create posts. The posts, just like you can create a post on Facebook, actually shows in your listing as well. And you need to ask for reviews. So giving people the ability to very easily write reviews. There's a section you can say ask for reviews. It will pop up. It will actually give you the link and a QR code that you can now use in your marketing to ask for reviews because reviews matter. Reviews build trust. So think about all of the opportunities that you have once you have your Google business listing up to make it as easy as possible for people to write those reviews for you. Incorporate those reviews on your website. So many websites these days have great integrations you can do with your Google Business Profile, that way they're automatically coming into your site. So that way your site is providing even more foundation of your trust. Think about all the opportunities that you have to ask for reviews. Automated email campaigns if you're e-commerce. If you're not e-commerce, even sending out regular emails to your audience. QR codes on printed material. Personally request if you're speaking to your customers on your receipts. So absolutely make it a priority to actively be asking for reviews. And you also have the ability on Google Business Profile to see what your results are. Your kind of overall interactions, how many calls you received in a month, how many people clicked on directions and visited your website. So it's such a great tool. You should absolutely take advantage of that. Now, one of the other key factors is directories, is how ChatGPT, how AI overviews is pulling information. So Google Business Profile is one of those. One of the tools I highly recommend for local businesses is called Yext. What it does is it allows you to have one dashboard and you are going to be able to be seen on hundreds of directories. So now you only have one dashboard that you can log on and manage. So it's a fantastic resource. It is a paid tool though. It's about $199 on an annual basis, but it allows you to significantly expand your reach without having to manually go to each one of these 200 directories, set it up, do all the time. And it also helps you keep it up to date as well and tracking. So if you're looking to really broaden your local reach, I definitely recommend this for small businesses as well. Now we talked about the importance of content. So whether or not you're using ChatGPT or any of your favorite AI content generators, it's really a must these days because of the importance of getting out that great content. So ChatGPT is a good place to start. It tends to be still one of the most popular resources, but if you're using Gemini, Claude, whatever you're using, utilize it for your content. So here's just a real simple breakdown. List 3 ideas for blog posts about vehicle maintenance tips for summer. It's giving me 3 options. Now I'm going to let it know which one I want. And by the way, incorporate this particular keyword phrase 4 times. Use it in the title, right? So you're giving it guidance. The one thing I always have to stress when it comes to any AI content Generator is you have to edit it. You have to have your own voice, your brand voice. Don't just take the content directly, but it can be a great place for generating ideas to help you get started, to work on customizing your content for any of your digital marketing. So many of them have free plans, but if you are going to use ChatGPT, I do recommend the paid plan, which is $20 a month. Now, one of the other key factors when it comes to SEO is obtaining quality backlinks. So this happens to be a screenshot from SEMrush, that tool that I was telling you about that actually tracks things for you. So think about how you can leverage PR. If you're doing a press release, that's a great place to get backlinks. If you're creating great content, you'll be reached out to. People want to be able to share that content. Think about posting on other blog contents and writing links back to your website as well. Those are some great ways to earn quality backlinks. See, we have a few more questions coming in. Do variations of a keyword phrase count as additional keywords? They do. So for example, dog walker Chicago and Chicago dog walker. Yep, you want to have all sorts of variations of those. And these tools can actually show you, that I shared today, what kind of search volume each of those phrases have. What is the longest keyword or phrase should be? Good question. I probably wouldn't go longer than maybe 5 words, right? But again, do the research and kind of see what people are actually searching for as well. See, another question, my startup is an e-commerce retail. I assume that everything you're sharing also relates to e-commerce. Absolutely. Everything we're talking about today is not just for e-commerce or B2B. It applies to all businesses. So let's go ahead and talk about the importance of AI search. What is AI search, right? First of all, it gives you direct answers. It pulls from multiple sources, highlights trusted businesses, and it reduces clicks, but it gives you more visibility for your online presence. And where does AI get this information? It pulls it from across the web. So for example, your website, it's pulling from your reviews, your online mentions, your directories, which is why you want to use a resource like Next. And what is key is you need to have consistency with how your business is being promoted and your information. So I want to talk about the importance now of how specific techniques that you can be found in the AI search overviews. So again, as we've talked about, I'm going to keep reinforcing through our presentation today. It all still starts with that baseline SEO work that we just went through. But now the shift to GEO, generative engine optimization. So again, this is all really driven a lot by your content and how you're focused on the content that you're putting up online across the board. So as you're writing your content, really think about authoritative content, focusing on your expertise, your trustworthiness, because AI systems prioritize brands with consistent, credible content. Create high quality authoritative content. So again, this is where it comes back to what we were talking about, publishing that great content on a regular basis that leverages your expertise, that's factual and actual, and original thought. Again, you're not just using ChatGPT, right? You've got to really put your own thoughts into this. And of course, as you're engaging your site with visitors and getting more on your site as well. So here's an example of companies that are absolutely getting #1 rankings with AI overviews and how it displays at the top of the search, right? So they're listed based on a keyword phrase, and it has a summary overview as well. So a lot of this baseline content is just shifting, right? SEO has always been getting new content up, but now when you're publishing your blogs, they're looking for more depth and context. Again, you're writing it for your audience. There's not just keyword stuffing happening. You're maintaining a strong presence across the board, not just your website, but think about LinkedIn, these directories, including clear business information, because tools like ChatGPT and Gemini pull from public data. So again, it's really looking at how you can maximize those opportunities for you. And you're incorporating your keywords, right? So even as you're writing your content, whether it's a blog or a case study, you have that primary keyword focus, and then you can layer in additional keywords as well. Also, the big change is shifting to more conversational type of content, and you're answering questions like if you were speaking directly with a person. Also, very importantly, is building up your reviews and your citations. And again, we just went through the example of how to get the reviews on Google Business Profile. Think about all the other review sites that you can be on as well. Now, when it comes to AEO, so answer engine optimization, think about incorporating things like frequently asked questions on your website, using structured formats. Think about bullet points, numbered lists, tables, so they're all good formats. And as with all your content, you want to make sure you're using clear and concise answers and structured data. This is a little bit more technical, but you can have your developer incorporate what's called schema markup, and it helps signal that information as far as what is being shared, so the content is accurately being conveyed to the searches as well. So in terms of content that works for AI, think about question-based headlines and titles, like what is, and then your explanation. Within your direct answers, do 40 to 60 words. We just talked about structure, list, right? Really the framework, apping your frequently asked questions section, case studies. Use local focused content. You're a local expert in your area. Leverage that expertise as well in terms of all of your content. So let's take a look at 4 simple content ideas that you can use. How-to guides. Not only is that a great resource, it can be a great lead magnet to get people to convert from your website. Think about the top 5 questions that customers ask you regularly and do blog articles on that. Also address common mistakes that maybe your audience is making, that you can address that value-added content. And think about, again, highlighting your local insights, right? Because again, that's helping you get found locally as well. So it's kind of an overview of some of the steps and the techniques that you want to employ to help you get found in search these days. One of the other things we want to talk about today is the importance of tracking. With your SEO efforts, it's just like any of your other digital marketing. You don't want to be flying blind, and you cannot rely on doing your own searches because it's going to skew the results. You need to use an independent source like SEMrush, for example, that you can actually track your results. So taking a look at your overall visibility. How many keywords do you have in the top 3 positions ranking with Google? How many in the top 10? Are you increasing? Are you decreasing? Your overall ranking distribution. Again, how is that broken down? You're going to start off with a certain position, but are you consistently seeing increases in your keyword rankings? Also, very importantly, we're not just looking at our own positioning. With a tool like SEMrush, you can also track it versus your competition. So you can see exactly what keyword you're ranking for on what page of Google, but also how does that compare to your top competitors that you're tracking as well. Taking a look at your backlink profile, are you actively adding new backlinks? Because that's a key factor, and your overall website health as well. So kind of in summary, when it comes to search, as we talked about today, when it comes to getting ranked, absolutely opportunities and the AI overviews, things like ChatGPT, but it all starts with your baseline of search engine, traditional search engine optimization. So you've got to invest in that search and then adapt your strategy in the type of content that you're putting up so that you can be working your way to get found in the AI overviews and ChatGPT as well. So now I want to transition to the importance of making your website a priority, because it's all about everything we've been talking about today is getting found, but where are we sending them? We're sending them to your website. So your website absolutely needs to be a top priority for you because it shouldn't just exist. It needs to drive results. It needs to be generating those sales and those leads from your website. It's the hub, it's the foundation of your digital marketing because, of course, what we're talking about today just happens to be search. But really to see the best performance, you're going to be investing in a multi-channel strategy. So it's not just search, it's not just email marketing or paid ads, it's having that right combination and driving that quality traffic to your site, making sure that your site is truly optimized for your target audience so that within a few seconds, they find what they like, they're interested, they want to learn more. If not, they're going to leave your website. And so really making sure you are investing in your website and ongoing, because you can't afford not to. It's how business is being conducted these days. It's everything we're talking about today and getting found in search, and we're driving the traffic to the website to get those conversions. I invite you to join me for some of my upcoming webinars with SCORE that are dedicated to website optimization, website best practices, tips and techniques to drive more business when you do get visitors to your website. But today's webinar is really focused on search. I just wanted to cover a few elements with your website today, because your website absolutely supports your SEO and your AI visibility. It helps you build credibility, and ultimately, of course, it's where you can generate more business. Again, if you have questions, go ahead and post them in the Q&A box, please. So everything we're talking about today is search, but we also want to make sure that you really take a hard look at your website. I recommend that you audit your site on a regular basis. When was the last time you looked at your analytics, for example? Are you seeing an increase in traffic, decrease? Are people spending less or more time? Where are they coming from? For those of you that are e-commerce, always look at conducting an audit. The fewer steps in the checkout process, the better you're going to see that sales and lower abandoned cart rate. Very important in Google Analytics, which we'll get to here in a minute, is the importance of identifying not only where the traffic is coming from, but what's generating conversions for you. Again, updating your website. Hopefully I reinforced that enough today to really inspire you to be updating your website on a monthly consistent basis with new content that's optimized. And where we see best results, when companies are invested in their website, in their search, they're testing, they're trying new elements on their website based on the data they're seeing in their Google Analytics. So take a hard look at your website. Does it really reflect where you are today? Is it time for an update, or maybe even a new website, where a lot of businesses are investing today? As I mentioned earlier, so important that you have a fast load time, ideally less than 2 seconds. Every additional second after that, you are going to see it reduce in your conversions by 7%. So if your website is not loading fast, reach out to your developer, reach out to your hosting company. Sometimes just changing and upgrading your hosting plan can make a world of difference. But keep in mind, again, you can relate to this. How long do you wait for a website to load before you leave? I've also included a couple of tools here that you can use that are free, that you can check your website load speed. Again, SCORE will be sending you copies of my presentation slides you can download and refer back to. When it comes to your website, again, we've got to impress, we've got to draw in those visitors for the very first time within just a few seconds. With your website, you want to have a two-pronged strategy. Number one, we're always focused on driving new business, of course, new leads to get those conversions, but really make sure you take the time that you have a key strategy in place to drive repeat visits. One of the easiest ways, most effective ways, most cost-effective ways to do that every month is sending out email marketing, right? Whether or not you're doing a promotion or a newsletter, I'll tell you across the board in just about any industry we're working in, it tends to be the highest traffic day because it's so much more cost effective to grow your business with existing customers than it is to get the conversion. But we all know you still got to have, those funnels being built in place as well. So again, your website is absolutely an investment. It's where you're driving all of your digital marketing, including search. And when you have all of those pieces working together, when your site's truly optimized, when you're being found in search, you're giving yourself the best opportunity to drive more business. Again, I certainly invite you to join some of my upcoming webinars where we go into much greater detail on those practices. Next, I want to go ahead and talk about the importance of measuring your success with Google Analytics and really making sure that you have that in place. So if you do not already have Google Analytics, number one priority today on your website. Google Analytics is absolutely free, and you need to have that in place because it is giving you insight so that you can make data-driven decisions. You're not just guessing what's working, what's not. And I'm going to go through some very specific details and show you today exactly the kind of metrics you should be looking at. But businesses using analytics are 23 times more likely to acquire customers and 19 times more likely to be profitable. It provides great behavior insight, so it allows you to really see what the engagement is, where you're getting traffic, but where you're losing them as well, and allows you to have that insight to make those proper decisions so that you are making the most of the traffic that is coming to your website. So again, Google Analytics 4 specifically, it's been around for a couple of years, is what you want to sign up for. Get that on your website. Make sure that you have the event tracking in place. It's kind of known as conversion tracking, so that way you'll be able to see not only where people are coming from, but is it leading to a sale or a lead. Certainly for any of you that are e-commerce, you want to make sure you have the e-commerce tracking in place as well. So Google Analytics is very comprehensive. I'm just going to go over some of the key metrics you should be looking at every month, but really as a business owner or entrepreneur, understanding what the data means, because that's going to give you that great insight to what's working, what's not, where you should be focused on making changes to your website to drive better return on investment. So first and foremost, how many people have visited your website in the last 30 days? In this particular case, 4,300, which is great. Of those, 4,100 were brand new visitors. So they're doing a great job in driving new quality traffic to their website. However, they might be missing the mark on not driving repeat visit to the site. Take a look at how much time people are spending on your site. A good milestone to hit is a minute. If it's 10 seconds, that's a disconnect. Are people calling you, or are they leaving your site right away? In this particular case, there is no revenue because they're not a e-commerce space. Very, very important in your overall digital marketing is to look at what's called the acquisition. In other words, how did people find your website? Was it through organic search? That's what we're talking about today. Absolutely. So organic search would be the rankings in Google or any search engines. Believe it or not, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo are still around. And it also does include AI overviews, right? Direct is going to be somebody who directly links back to your website. A lot of times that's attributed to email marketing. It can also be ChatGPT sources. Organic social, so you're not paying for running ads. Your paid search, your referral traffic. So that's going to tell you how people are finding your website. But you need to take it to the next level. You absolutely need to have the event tracking in place so that you can see of the traffic that's coming to your site, where it was generated, ultimately what is converting. So here's a great example. The number one driver of traffic to their website for new users is organic social. They're driving 1,200 visits in a month. But if we look to the far right, 1,200 visits, $0 in sales. Obviously, that's a horrific conversion rate. What is driving sales? Their organic search efforts and their direct, which happens to be their email marketing. So as a business owner, I would take a look at this, take a hard look at my organic social media strategy, because the traffic and all the effort that I'm putting into organic social, sure, we're getting traffic to the website, but it's not converting. So look at shifting that strategy, or maybe taking some of those resources out of social and put into what is working, so you can certainly get that better return on investment. Now, of course, if you are taking a look at your pages, you should be looking at all the pages on your website. What are the most visited pages, but also what pages haven't gotten any traffic, right? Maybe it's some of your top products or services and they need some visibility. So take a look at not only what pages have the visibility, how much time people are spending on them as well. Are they taking action on those pages? You'll also be able to see a breakdown of all of your events. So user engagement, a first visit, are they taking actions? And you can set up your different event tracking as well. And also very importantly, that you're looking at the breakdown of how people are engaging with your website based on what device they're on. For example, maybe your mobile version of your site is slow loading compared to desktop and people aren't hanging around, right? How do you really know that? And maybe where to make changes is by looking at the data. So again, Google Analytics is super comprehensive. I just covered kind of the top level metrics you should be looking at on a monthly basis. I included a link here that you'll get a copy of the presentation that shows you how to set up Google Analytics. Another key resource that's free that I recommend for every business is Google Search Console. And essentially what it does is it helps you see what people are searching for. It tracks which pages are getting visibility. It helps you identify keyword opportunities, another resource. It also monitors the performance of your website and can track some really great information. So again, I've included a link here that you can have to be able to set up. And lastly, I want to cover some summary and action plans as your takeaways today. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't fall into these traps. Don't have an outdated website. If you really want to be driving more business, you've got to invest in your site, which is we've talked about throughout our whole session today, the importance of adding new content regularly. Missing your contact information or having inconsistent information either on your website or throughout, online. If you don't have that review strategy in place, we talked about the importance of building that trust, that credibility in getting those Google reviews and reviews on other sites as well. If you're not providing updates, and bottom line, if you're not investing in search, because having a website alone is not enough these days, you've got to invest in search. So I put together a summary action plan for you to consider for the next 30 days. First and foremost, optimize your Google business profile. Update your website content. Ask for reviews consistently and get that in part of your plan. Looking at adding frequently asked questions to your website. Post at least one helpful piece of content like a blog article. But bottom line, you've got to keep your plan realistic and actionable, right? It's just about mapping it out and using some of these great tools. Speaking of tools, I have a couple of highlights for the tools we talked about today. Google Business Profile, free. Google Search Console, free. Google Analytics, free. SEMrush has that free plan that you can take advantage of. Using ChatGPT or any of your content, whatever your favorite AI overview type of content generator is. And Canva is another great resource that they have free plans for you to create great visuals for you to use in all of your digital marketing. So in summary, bringing it all together, your website, absolutely you need to position it and prioritize it as the hub, the foundation of your digital marketing. Focus on your local SEO. We covered a lot of specific techniques that you can employ today. Your content is what is going to help drive that visibility for you and the consistency of it. Don't give up after a month. It's going to take longer. It's a longer term, but well worth the investment. We talked about the importance of what is really where things are at with search today, which is AI and the new opportunities that you have and some of those techniques that you need to employ to help you with that. The consistency, again, I just mentioned that you've got to be doing this on a consistent basis if you really expect to see results. And of course, the importance of your reviews and your reputation so you can increase that with your rankings. And in our remaining time, I just have a couple of case studies and then we'll turn it over to our final questions. So these are small businesses that have really employed the techniques we're talking about today. So my first example is Premium Termite and Pest Control, and in their industry, it is literally cost prohibitive to run Google ads. I mean, it is just out of control. So they invested in optimizing their website for search. They also incorporated very specific techniques that absolutely are proven to help drive more conversions. Having an opt-in form when people first visit your website, hey, do you want to schedule that free inspection today? That pops up when it's a new visitor. It's integrated into their email marketing. So they now have an automated email series that's working for them 24/7 to get those people to sign up. They've incorporating all of the techniques we've talked about today in terms of search and doing blog articles. And they have a significantly number of keywords that they rank for on the page 1 in their Google search. and driving more visibility across the board. My second example today is Construction Experts, and they offer online educational courses in the construction industry. The challenge that they had is that their website was outdated technology. It was very slow to load, so people were not waiting for it to load. It was not designed really for a best user experience, and it wasn't an effective sales tool. They invested in a brand new website that really gave them a much more contemporary, updated look and feel that's easy to navigate, fast load, and invested in their SEO. They also incorporated, of course, the techniques like the opt-in form, even an exit intent form as well. And they have significantly increased their search rankings and the business they generate from their online search, as well as being ranked #1 on Google for so many keyword phrases and being found in the AI overviews and in ChatGPT as well. So let's go ahead and turn it over to our questions in our remaining time. In the meantime, I invite you to connect with us at Creative Marketing Services. I've included a QR code here you can scan if you want to sign up to receive our emails, or you can visit our website where we're constantly sharing educational webinars. So I have a couple of upcoming free webinars that I invite you to join. On May 22nd, we're going to be talking about 10 common marketing mistakes to avoid. And on May 29th, we want to learn more about WordPress. WordPress is one of the most powerful platforms for businesses to use to build their website. That's going to be on May 29th. So great questions. How important is your listing with Apple Maps? Very important. And one of the things you can do, you can go directly to Apple Maps. It's just like your directory in Google, Apple Maps, and set that up. Or if you're using a service like Next, like I shared with you, that has the ability to get on Apple Maps plus like 200 other directories. So Apple Maps is something I would prioritize as well. In terms of what specific content or pages increases the chance of being mentioned in AI tools like ChatGPT, Google. Yeah, so some of those examples that I shared today, sharing case studies, sharing frequently asked questions, blog articles that are really written with that structure that I provided are absolutely things that I would prioritize as well. In terms of what should I do to maximize ChatGPT for this purpose? So first and foremost, if you're using ChatGPT to help you generate some of this content, right? We gave you very specific types of prompts and how to focus on the content. Again, I can't emphasize enough, you absolutely have to just take any content from an AI content generator and customize it, reflect your brand, put your own voice to it. Don't ever just use it generically out of any of those services. In terms of WordPress, in terms of payment blocks, so I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking, but in terms of WordPress, you can use WooCommerce for e-commerce for WordPress, or you can also use something called Gravity Forms that integrates with PayPal if you just have a couple of items that you would want to make available for purchase on your site without having to do an e-commerce. When it comes to getting started, which website builder would you recommend? Great question, Teresa. One of the best things that I recommend is take your time to identify your website platform, because you want to look at both your short-term, your long-term goals. You want to look at the features, the functionality, right? Too often we talk to businesses and they've outgrown their website platform because it can't keep up with the features that they want, and they're having to start over. So take a hard look at the features, the functionalities you're looking for. If it's not e-commerce, think about maybe Wix or WordPress. You know, Wix offers quite a lot and can be great for many businesses. But if you're looking for a higher level of customization and the features and the functionality, you might want to explore WordPress, but really take a hard look at that before you invest in your website. In terms of great content, thank you so much. Thoughts about businesses creating content on Reddit. Yeah, any opportunity that you have. And really it's a matter of where your audience is, right? Because bottom line, you can't spread yourself too thin. You're never going to be able to make this achievable, right? Really take a hard look at where your audience is always the top recommendation. And then make sure that you're employing ways that you can get in front of those audiences. For example, many times when I speak to businesses, they're spreading themselves way too thin across too many social media channels where their audience is not always on, say, TikTok, right? Just because that's kind of where popular trends are right now, doesn't mean their audience is there for their type of business. So really just prioritize based on where your audience is. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you found it very helpful, kind of the insights into where search is today and very actionable items that you can take away. So again, Score will be sending you copies of my presentation slides that you can download. Please refer back to them. You came and joined us today, so utilize those as you're working on search. And of course, take advantage of what I shared at the very beginning, the amazing resource that SCORE offers. So they'll be sending you the presentation. You have the opportunity to book a mentoring session at no cost. So thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you at a future webinar and have a fabulous weekend.